Well, good evening from Hong Kong. Well, I'm looking at the starboard aft here. They're taking out some of that bad wood. They're cutting it out. You can see what's behind it. It's not pretty. I've got some older units that they're in a little bit better condition for these grates. That one I can't save because it's on the inside. This one I think I can go in, bend out, kind of buff it up a little bit, make that one look good again. That one I've got to replace. But anyway, although these guys are working, definitely not doing it as agreed. But it's getting done. It's just got to get watertight. Below the water line, I don't know if I can get to it here. Below the water line, if you see all the gray there, I mean, all these seams have been caulked. Or packed with the bamboo, put over with the putty. I mean, she is below the water line sound. It is sound. I mean, it's nailed. Now these nails, I don't know if I've mentioned before, these nails are only like, they say they're good for 20 years. And after that, you got to start paying attention to, because they will rust. They will rust. Well, now I would say about 85% of this hull has been renailed. It's all been renailed, and now it's a 1988 build, so we're good to go. We're good to go. And now the lower stripe, which is called the water line, which is just above the water line, as you can see how they've taped it off, it's polyester urethane. How they've taped it off, it's horrible. I have no idea what they're using to fill in that hole. Rather than cutting out that section of the board, they're filling her in. But again, boat's going to have scars. I knew that when I first started. And she does have scars, but she's healing. But again, there are 2 coats of varnish on this wood right now. And you can see, hopefully they're going to caulk into that. They'll put in bamboo or cotton. They're going to put in a small piece of wood there. Small wood. Hopefully pack and then another piece of wood there. So this is on the starboard side. And she just needs a lot of work. So let's walk up to the bow here. Not the most safest of environments, if you will, but it works. And I see up by the bow here, if the lens here is adjusted, they're kind of starting to anti-foul on the, or actually, and this is the undercoat on the keel. And as you can see here, let's see if I can get down there a little bit lower here. As you can see on this one, again, how much packing, I mean, even on this lower part was all the undercoat before the anti-foul here has been done. There are a few pieces of wood that have been replaced midship, and that here on the starboard side, but you can see where all the nails are, and hopefully the lens will adjust. But it's coming. But how they taped it off, it looks like crap. I do better intoxicated. And as you can see now, this is a patch before my ownership of the vessel. And it bows out. Everything is just rounded. This hull is not flat. I mean, every board should be flat, but every board is crowned. So again, the thing is, as my father said when I was growing up, if you want a job done right, you got to do it yourself. So it looks like that's what I'm going to do, and I'm just not going to argue with it. I'll just strip it down with the planer. And above this, because above this white stripe, I mean, I'm going to be up quite a ways. So I'll be able to plane off with my planer, and I'll be able to get it so it's flat again, and do things right where they're not doing right. So, oh my God, I think they've painted. I think that's polyester. I think that's PU paint. That's not Silkaflex. That's PU paint. It is. It's PU paint. I'll be dipped in shit. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know if I can say that on YouTube. Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, I mean, it's becoming watertight. So let's focus on. Just remember, the glass is half full, Alan. The glass is half full. So, but I mean, if you're looking at the hull here, it just, oh, she's a good-looking boat. You know, you put that shine of that varnish on that teak wood, man, it's gorgeous, just gorgeous. You know, I mean, it's a 5 meter beam, 5 meter wide vessel. So, and you know, 50 feet long. So now this is another thing. These are the patches, and they've got teak, and I really wanted teak in there. Or if not, kind of give it that orange. There's an orange stain you can put on it to make it look like it's teak, but she's starting to look like a shipping crate. Oh, I don't know. So the thing is now, if I plane this down and, you know, make all the boards flat again, I will go in and I'll put on that orange stain that'll soak into it, and it'll actually, even though it's not teak wood, it's just whatever yuccal ironwood, whatever it is, but it'll blend in much better than that, because it's looking like a shipping crate. So then this side of the hull is doing good. I got all the seacocks. I got the port starboard seacocks were done today, and the seacock for the outlet of the toilet and the seacock for the seawater inlet for the toilet were replaced today, and it has all new hose. But I'll kind of show you that. Now here, this has been patched up today as well as those other ones, but they varnished. Still got work to do. Still got work to do on that. And there's my exhaust. I've got to go. I haven't even checked it out. Hope you guys will. Oops, can't really get in there. I'm a big fat guy. Okay, that has all been in there. And it looks like these have been tightened up. Okay, so this is all tight. Alright. So those have been tightened, but I still have a gap on the diving platform. Not sure why. But these beams are all attached well. But again, they're using tape, but they don't tape all the way down. You got to tape. Oh, I think that's just primer. Okay, Alan, you can shut up. But again, oops. So, all right. Looking good. I think. Well, I see they've anti-fouled the rudders. Rudders have been anti-fouled. Looking good. My propellers are looking good. And need to get the anodes on the rudders. And yeah, got to get anodes on the rudders. Yeah, they have to take them off. There are anodes. But I noticed there are no anodes on my shaft, so I got to talk to Jimmy about that. I got to have anodes on that shaft. If they're not going to put, I guess that's part of the quotation. Anode on each shaft, anode on each rudder. So I'll figure that out. But that's looking good. My exhaust pipes are looking okay. Lots of nice wood here. Lots of nice wood. So I need to, before we came into the slipway, I tried to use these davits, and I tried to lift up my dinghy and put on anti-foul on my dinghy. But what had happened is the weight up on the top of this, because it's not fully supported, because it's a really bad patch that's right there. So what's been happening is that board is actually on the bottom of the davit is actually tipping inward. So I got to get a structural support behind that. But I mean, that's something I can do myself. Now, I talked to Jimmy briefly today. He's pretty busy with this other boat. It's a charter boat, but I was talking to him about once it goes in the water, we'll attach that floor to the beams, because right now what's happening is the hull is actually kind of bowing out because the ribs aren't attached to the floor. You know, holding that crown is not holding it. Just got the ribs coming up, and so it's naturally going to want to come out. So we'll take care of that. But anyway, let's just go back here again. I've got the new seacocks. Got the new seacocks in, so I can really start working on getting that bathroom done. The toilet's in there. It's right where I want to get it. I'm restoring it, so I'll make another video for that later. And then the hydroponics, I got all the parts today, as I had to order them from the supplier for all the PVC. So, and I started cutting it's 3-inch pipe, because I can't get 4-inch pipe. I can go up to 6, and I'm not going to use 6-inch for this drip system. But as you can see, I've got this is 18 foot piece of 3-inch PVC, and how it's going to work and kind of show you how this is working. Oh, look at that, May sweeping, busy at work. But now how it's going to work is, here's the system. There's going to be 7 net pots per arm. 3 port, 3 starboard. They're all going to drain down into the one. On the back side of this, it's going to be 1/2 inch down to 1/4, and it's just going to be dripping on each lettuce plant. So a total of 42. Now this is going to be attached on the back side here. My nutrient tank is going to sit right down here. I've got a main structural support. You can see down there, here's the beam right here. So I could put 20 gallons of nutrient here. I've got the 3 arms that come out, they drain in there, and it pumps right back out. I am going to be painting over with polyester urethane over the top. Light does not penetrate this pipe. I don't know your Schedule 80 schedule, but it's thick, and I've held it up to halogen light bulbs. No light penetrates it, but it may, and I don't want any algae to grow, so I'm going to also put a good thick coat of the same polyester urethane that's on this deck. So I mean, when it goes on, it's, I don't know, so it's more than 2 mil thick. I mean, when it goes on, if you put one coat on, then you put the second coat on, and no light will ever penetrate it. But then on the back side is going to be the 1/2 inch pipe, and I'm probably going to be using a PVC as well. And I'll be using threaded fittings. I've got one. It's a 1/4 inch thread, I think. Then it comes out to the 1/4 inch, whatever hose slips right over the top of it. So then I'm just going to have a small piece of 1/4 inch flex tubing that's going to go into each net cup on the back. And on doing so, each branch, because I'm going to have one pipe that's going to come up and it's go over, so each branch I will have an actual shutoff valve, so I can, on the bottom, I can lower the pressure so I can gain a higher pressure at the top. And for the bilge pump that I can get, which is commonly found here, is they're 800 gallons per hour. So I mean, they put out a bunch. So I'll be able to control that, and I'm going to have lots and lots and lots of pressure. And at 24 volts, I'm going to have very, very low amp draw. And then what I think I'm going to do is each system, like this system and then the Dutch buckets, the way it's going to work, I'm just going to be putting in a 24 volt air pump on each one to aerate the nutrient solution, rather than having one central system and then do that. What I'm going to do is I've got a 24 volt, but it's 100 liters per minute of air. And where the hell did I put that? Let me turn on some lights here. Where did I put that air pump? You know, it's such a mess here. I don't remember where I put the air pump. Yeah, here's the air pump. It's a DC air pump, and it's not 12 volts, 24 volts, but it's a different box. But as it says here, it's 100 liters per minute. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use that, and down in the lazarette, I'm going to cut an access hole like we have here, but just for going into the lazarette. Like right now, we have a typhoon coming. It's in Manila right now, so it's in the Philippines, and it's heading this way. It'll probably be about 800 kilometers south of us, but we're still going to get wind and all that. So what's going to happen is I'm going to need to take all of these things down, and I'm going to need to put them down into the lazarette. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this large air pump down there as a central system, and for the 2 or 3 days that as a typhoon passes over, what I can do is I can take all the lettuce, we're going to put it into just like one of those Kratky or whatever systems, to throw that in or something like that. I'll make something up, but that air pump, I'll go to different nutrient baths, like for the tomatoes, because they're at a different NPK. The lettuce will be at a different NPK. Strawberries will be at a different NPK. So then I've just got one air pump that's going to take care of all the rest of it. Lettuce is looking good. We got a lot of wind up here today. This has been just below the wind, but this stuff is taking up really good. We're still planting. We're trying different foams to see how to germinate and how fast they're growing before we get it in. Again, we're using that hydrotin, however it's pronounced. That's what we're using. The Dutch buckets, I'm having a hell of a time finding perlite. And once I can find other than 1 metric ton that I would have to buy from a factory, if I could just buy 150 liters of it, and which is basically 3 50-liter bags, then get the tomatoes in, and the lettuce will be going here shortly, so that's going good. We got a pineapple. May bought a pineapple a couple weeks ago, so we've eaten the pineapple, and now we're going to start growing it in here. And lemon tree's doing really, really, really well. So that's what's kind of happening. Where did May put her peanuts? She started these peanuts, from seed, and these are them. That's a peanut. That's a peanut. This is like 2 days. 3 days. 3 days. But they're just taking off like wildfire. I'm not sure what that one is. But again, it's peanut coming up. These things are just growing like weeds. It's fantastic. We actually had a tomato over here that started to flower, and which is kind of unique. So now, I don't know if we want to go down. Seacocks have been put in now. I've got the toilet where I want it. I've got the new hand pump on it. I'm setting in my siphon hose. I've got the one-way valve down on the new seacock so water will come up. And because I'm above the water line here, I'm above the water line, but I don't know, maybe about half a meter. And so you got about half a meter of empty space. So you got to pump quite a few times before you actually get the water in. So I've got the one-way valve, so once we go into the water, I've got to pump a few times to get that water up, and once it's up there, the one-way valve does not allow the seawater to go back. So again, once you do that, because it's seawater, you've got to make sure you pump that every day. Because what will happen is all the organisms will go inside that pipe and they stink, and it's a rotten egg, sulfur smell. It's horrible if you just let it go for a couple days. But you flush it out, once a day. Life is good. But I'm always going to do it because I'm always on here, and that's my morning ritual. That's where you do all your best thinking, right? So now I can start taking this off. So now I can actually do this. As I move that, take off that block, life is good. Start fixing the floors, get things going. Life is good. So it's time for a beer, my friends. It's time for a beer. But right now, we're in a good place to do stuff. I've got all my fittings to finish up. Got my clean outs that we're putting in. I've got my reducers for our neck cups. Neck cups are downstairs. But other than that, and these, I got a full box. This is a box of 24. So that's going good. This varnish that I put on that, it looks fantastic. So the main thing is it's not going to sink if it goes back into the water, because below the water line it's good. Above the water line, I've got to deal with that, but I can fix it. I can fix it myself. Not a problem. I'm a do-it-yourself kind of guy. So, from Hong Kong, May and Alan want everybody to be good, be safe, and always be well. And if you have them, drink an export quality night beer. Special lager. Alright guys, talk to you soon. Bye-bye.